Betul. Satu.
Today, we will explore the life and legacy of one of the most influential artists in history, Pablo Picasso. Born in Spain in 1881, Picasso began his artistic journey at a young age. By the early 19th, he co-founded Cubism, a groundbreaking movement that changed the course of modern art. One of Picasso's most iconic pieces, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon from 1907, marked a radical break from tradition using fragmented forms and bold shape that challenged conventional ideas of beauty and representation. Beyond Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, Picasso's vast portfolio includes masterpieces like Violin and Candlestick 1910, Majoli, 1911, fragmented portrait of Picasso's lover focusing on form over detail, and Three Musicians, 1921, a colorful, flat depiction of three musicians in synthetic cubism with clear, bold shapes. Picasso's influence is immeasurable. His contribution to art continue to inspire artists and shape the art world today. Let's now dive deeper into Picasso's journey and his masterpiece.
Let's talk about formalistic element of art. The first one, form. He created 3D shape, often distorting them for new effect. Second, Picasso used different lines, curve, straight, or jagged to shape figures and show emotion. Third, shape. He broke objects into simple shapes like cubes and circles, especially is Cubism. The last but not least, color. He used color to express feeling, blue for sadness and pink for warmth. Principle of design. The first one is contrast. Blood different in color and shape, especially in his Cubism works. Second is movement. His art suggests action like the chaotic form in Guernica. The last is pattern. Repeat shape or lines, especially in his ceramics.
The painting shows 5 women, often thought to be prostitutes from Barcelona's Avignon quarter. The title Les Demoiselles d'Avignon means the young ladies of Avignon. Unlike traditional, idealized female nudes, these women are strong, bold, and confrontational, challenging how women were typically represented in art. Picasso was inspired by African and Iberian art. The women's faces are mask-like, influenced by African masks Picasso saw in Paris, giving them a primal, intense energy. Their angular bodies echo Iberian sculpture with its abstract, bold forms. The woman's direct gaze challenges the viewer. Unlike passive figures in classical art, they stare back with confidence, asserting their presence and power. Additionally, the shallow, compressed space creates tension. There's no real depth, making the figures feel disconnected from the traditional, realistic space, reflecting Picasso's break from old artistic convention.
Picasso's genius lay in his ability to fragment the world around him. He took everyday objects, people, and landscape and fragmented them into geometric shapes, presenting them from multiple angles and viewpoints in one single artwork. Let's break down how Picasso approached fragmentation in his works. In works like Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, 1907, Picasso distorted human figures into flat planes and angular shapes. The figures' faces are turned into geometric forms like triangles and rectangles, which challenge our conventional understanding of the human form. Instead of one face, we get multiple faces from different perspectives in the same painting. How did Picasso use multiple perspectives? He used deconstructing and reconstructing reality. One of Picasso's most famous works, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, 1907, shows his early experimentation with multiple perspectives. In this painting, Picasso presents 5 female figures, but each one is fragmented and shown from several angles at once. The faces of the figures are abstracted into angular shapes, and some of the figures are seen in profile, while others are shown in frontal views. The result is a dynamic composition where the viewer is forced to piece together a cohesive interpretation from various angles. In Picasso's work, geometric shapes are not just decorative elements, they are the building blocks of his Cubist composition. Let's break down how he used these shapes in his art. Breaking objects into simple forms. Before Cubism, artists used perspective to create the illusion of depth and space in their works. But Picasso rejected this tradition. Instead of focusing on depth and realistic representation, he broke objects and figures down into geometric shapes. Faces become a combination of rectangles, triangles, and circles. Bodies were represented through cube and flat planes. Picasso's use of monochromatic and mild color palette in his Cubist works played a crucial role in the development of the movement. By limiting his color choices, Picasso was able to shift the focus away from color and towards form, structure, and the intellectual exploration of objects and space. His subtle use of color helped to emphasize the fractal nature of reality in Cubism, while also evoking emotional depth and seriousness in his paintings.
Abstraction in art is departure from depicting subject in literal, realistic way. Instead, it focused on breaking down objects into geometric shape, form, and symbols. Picasso early works like his Blue and Rose periods were filled with emotional depth and realism, but it was his collaboration with Braque in the early 1900s that Cubism truly took form. One of the key aspects of flattened space in Cubism is simultaneity, the idea of showing multiple perspectives of an object at once. Instead of one point of view, Picasso presents us with several views simultaneously, causing the space to collapse inward. The form becomes flatter, layered, and compressed into a single two-dimensional space.
Très bien, c'est fini.